stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have the next item on the agenda is the minutes from the November 12th regular meeting. We have had a chance to take a look at those minutes. Does anybody have any questions, any additions or alterations? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And we have under fiscal business, the fiscal officer's report.
I don't have anything, but is this a good point to do the then and now? We've got two bills that were paid. One was just, we invoiced it prior to having the money encumbered. The other one, we misjudged on our property taxes, how much they were gonna be by about $6,000. So I'm going to need an approval on a then and now for the.
6,000 for the property tax one.
Yeah, 6,000, and it's for the Fund 1,110,370. And then the other one was for 14,025.
Well, the total for the sign purchase was 14.
I think it's only
But
10,935.
The 10,009 was the invoice.
And that was out of the 2908 load fund.
Right.
So if I could have a motion to approve two then and now certifications, one for 6,000 out of the 1,110,370 fund, which is property taxes.
Okay,
And-
you probably better do two motions.
Oh, sorry.
Is there a motion to approve
You're really getting good at this.
as Linda is just going over with us the 6,000 for the property taxes?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay.
And then the second one is for $10,935 even for, actually, it was $10,943. And it was out of the 2908 low police fund.
For the police. Is there a motion to approve that also, expenditure also?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah.
And that's all. You do have the late bills. I know you're getting ready to do current bills. We did 11 late ones between now and between today and when you got your last set. So the only thing that makes that number look large is because it's a health insurance that has to get paid today, and then of course the property taxes.
Okay. Okay, having this list of additional bills and the current bills we've already had a chance to look at. Does anybody have any questions for Linda about the current bills? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the bill?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. And then we have resolution 4778, a resolution to amend the permanent appropriation with a reallocation of current appropriations. This looks like there's several things on there, just year-end moving money around.
Well, there's two purposes. One is for the property tax additional amount that wasn't appropriated in the permanent appropriation. The other one is moving money currently in the road and bridge fund that's either not been spent or like the road project came in less than estimated, so there was extra. We're moving that to machinery and equipment
For what's coming
for the
down the
backhoe
line,
replacement.
which we'll be seeing on the agenda in just a minute.
Right.
Anybody have any questions about 4778? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. And then we have a public hearing for the township to consider creating a lighting district for Soraya Farms 3.
Just briefly, since this hadn't been done, as I went over this with Brian, he said there's a process through the ORC where you have a public hearing, you provide the notice and so many days of the petition being filed. So we have to have a public hearing, offer anybody here who would like to speak a chance to comment on it, and then you can go forward as you have before creating the lighting district.
Is there a motion to recess the regular meeting and open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. In the public hearings, anybody have any questions or comments about this additional street lighting district for Soraya Farms 3? Standard procedure, we just have to now, since we have a new law director, we have a different process. Okay, if no questions, is anybody here that has any questions about that? If no questions, we'll close the public hearing with a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And then, back in regular session, we do have resolution 4779, a resolution approving the changes for Clearcreek Township Fire District system by establishing Soraya Farms 3 lighting district. So motion to approve 4779.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, or anything under unfinished business? Okay. Moving on to new business under administration, we have resolution 4780, a resolution authorizing township administrator to enter into a rental service agreement with Cintas for uniforms and floor mats.
This is renewal of what we're currently doing. I couldn't find where we authorized the agreement in the past, and since you have to authorize all agreements, I thought we ought to do that, but it's just continuing what we're currently doing.
So our motion to approve 4780.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And then we have 4781, also a resolution to enter into a memorandum of understanding and between Clearcreek Township Police Bargaining Units and the Township Trustees. Okay, want to tell us about that?
This was pursuant to the discussions at the end of October, where a memorandum was tossed around as a way to memorialize the health insurance commitments. It's basically summarizing or regurgitating what the resolution already commits to, but the police wanted to make sure there was the MOU. I don't believe the fire are gonna require one, but since it was tossed around, the police wanted to make sure they got the MOU.
I know that's what we said we were going to do, so
Yeah.
there we have. Okay, is there a motion on 4781?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. And resolution 4782, a resolution authorizing the township administrator to enter into an HSA service agreement with the Fifth Third Bank, again, out of result of the change in the healthcare.
Yes, we need to designate a bank where we're gonna do the HSA accounts. Linda had already been teeing up a meeting with the Fifth Third folks to go over the whole banking relationship she has with them for the township. They brought the HSA specific person. In my estimation, it'll be an easier ongoing relationship with them since Linda's already using them. They also have more things that an account user can have, better access. I did get a list of a lot of different HSA options at other banks. Some don't charge fees, but it's a pretty simple structure of it. Seemed that the Fifth Third product was a more robust, and again, just having the ongoing banking there, it made more sense to just stay with them.
Makes perfect sense to me. Anybody have any questions about that?
If this is going into effect December 1st, and we're providing the cards as our employees use for this, is that feasible to turn around? There's obviously gonna be a gap there, wouldn't there be?
It's January 1st.
I don't know that I would assume the cards will come fairly quickly. We're gonna set up, once this is approved, get it set up and have meetings with employees to introduce the Fifth Third product, let them, ask questions. I would guess they'll get their cards pretty close to the first, but the way it will flow through, when you go to the doctor, you let the bill go through United first. You don't pay the doctor on the spot, because then you don't get the discount.
Right.
So there will be a lag of time before you actually have to get a bill paid. But I would suspect we'll have the cards fairly quick.
That would be my only concern. I bank at Fifth Third. My check card was compromised on Amazon, and we just need to make sure that we get those cards for our employees by the end of the month.
Understood.
I think typically you can always get temporary cards online, they could, just if you need that identification, so.
Yeah, and it goes into effect January 1st.
Right.
Okay.
My experience was 2 months long. So, it was a,
Yeah,
there was a
I-
disconnect between the people that make the card and the people.
Jack and I actually asked that question,
Yeah.
and we were told 4 to 5 days. So,
Well, I think that was setting up the accounts, the cards will come fairly quick, I mean,
Yeah,
they do
I
this
just
all
wanna
the
make sure
time. but-
nobody's
Yeah,
put in a position where they've gotta go.
right.
it's
on
like
it.
anything else, when you change, you know, there's
Okay.
unforeseen things that
Right.
you just can't.
That could just be a biggie, and that's why you guys asked it too, I'm sure. So, okay, that's the only question I have.
Okay, any other questions? Is there a motion to approve 4782?
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And we have a recommendation to approve fall auction items, of which we have a list of. Anybody have any questions about any of these items? We'll be going on to the auction, online auction, I guess. If none, there's a motion to approve this list of items to be sold.
so moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. Will people actually buy training videos, outdated, I assume?
I don't know.
I can't imagine, well, whatever.
And you can tape over the back and erase them and redo them, but who's got a VHS player anymore, so.
Actually, we do too. We got too many Disney
I
videos.
gotta
on
say,
now.
between Disney and I got mashed in it,
Yeah.
I gotta be the one.
And of course, your wedding video,
I
right?
had that, my wife had that converted for me
Oh.
for our anniversary one
Oh,
year,
that was
actually,
nice.
to DVD. So,
Well, that's what I need to do.
Okay, did we approve that? Did we have a motion to approve that?
Yeah.
Okay, we did, all right. Moving on to item number 5, purchase recommendation. This is actually for the coterminous agreement with the city of Springboro, annual payment of $220,000 plus dollars. Anybody have any questions about that?
What exactly is that?
That is agreement we have with the city of Springboro, which we've had for some time.
I think I remember what it is, but I'm just,
Yeah.
to refresh my memory on it. I think
Well,
we've done
the
this-
money goes into their Parks and Recreation.
Okay, now I know what it is. Got it.
Yeah,
Art.
we collect the taxes from.
Yeah, it's art, yep. I know what it is now.
That's what it is.
Just worded differently now since we have a new administrator.
It's a little different.
I do know, I think Stephen's right, I don't remember ever seeing the word boundary in there before. I think it was always coterminous agreement.
Mhm.
and-
No boundary,
Yeah.
probably right. It has a couple of things in it that
Right.
benefit us on boundaries.
Sure.
Is there a motion to approve this expenditure?
So moved.
second,
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
yay,
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. And earlier, we talked about property tax payment, and there's also this expenditure for property taxes that we need to approve. Anybody have any questions about that? Is there a motion to approve the $11,000 property tax payment?
so moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. And we also have a request to have a public hearing or not have a public hearing for the future liquor license for United Dairy Farmers at 122 in Redline. In the past, we have not requested that because it doesn't do any good if you don't want it. The state really just always, their business is to have places to sell liquor, so you'd have to have a really, really good reason for them to ever.
Like being across from the church?
Nah, that doesn't work. Well, in that same catty corner from that years ago,
Oh, there's there's
Oh,
another
really?
one there.
well, that guy, not this owner, but years ago, we objected because that guy had been convicted of a felony. And then he burned that building down on the corner.
Oh, I know. I
Convicted of
remember
that
this.
second time. He put it in changed it to his nephew's name, and they still approved it. And he was also caught many times selling down the road.
Drugs, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
and they
that.
still approved it, so we learned a good lesson there. You better have a reason better than a couple felonies than selling.
It's
arson.
Arson doesn't get you there?
They want the taxes. That's it. Okay, is there a motion to not request a public hearing for this license for UDF?
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. Anything else on administration at this time, Jack?
No, sir.
Okay. Moving on to the police district, step recommendation, Chief?
Officer Sweet is due his step increase from step 5 to senior patrol officer pay. His old rate's $29.43, and that would go to $30.49, be effective on 12/5. recommend the board do that. He's doing a great job. Chuck's a good pick, so.
Yeah. So motion to approve the step increase for Officer Sweet.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yeah.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. Anything else at this time, Chief?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on to the fire district, I have a purchase recommendation for online learning education management system renewal.
We've used it the last couple of years. It does online education for our personnel. We're getting the renewal price the same per person, so no increase this year with it.
Very good. So a motion to approve the $3,190 expenditure for the educational management system online.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. Anything else, Chief?
No, sir.
Okay. Zoning department?
If I could just give you an update on Villages of Winding Creek,
Yes,
please.
please.
for everyone who's not been a part of the process. There's a section that has 55-foot lots, and within that section that was platted within the past year, mailboxes are at the edge of the driveway, and the post office said they no longer want to provide mail to the edge of the driveway. They want to, in essence, create a centralized box system for that one section of the subdivision. More things than you guys need to know about in the world of postal service that I've learned. Ultimately, it comes down to the local postmaster is the one to enforce or not enforce the regulation. There seems to be a flux, best word to use, in Washington Township on who that person is. Currently, there is a person above who was supposed to be the person who made this decision that is sitting in the position for a month before they move on, and we're trying to negotiate with them into an understanding for future sections, as well as how the interpretation will come for the current section. They being Washington Township Post Office, has the section identified as a new subdivision with a different name and a different classification. They have them as a condominium section that does not exist in that subdivision and the like. So there are some things that are misinformation through all this process. Ultimately, it's a 2012, 2013 recommendation from the federal government that this is how things should start going for new. And we're trying to tell them that since this has been a 2002 project through current, it's not a new subdivision, but we're happy to talk with them about new sections that don't currently have residents who are dependent upon mail at a certain location and to go forward. So hoping to have something resolved in the next 2 weeks. So. But those residents have talked with every person under the sun, political, federal, local, news. We're only having 30 more or less home sites. They are quite an active beehive, so it was good to see.
So really, it just doesn't seem like you're getting any real good positive response from anybody trying to work anything out, does it?
Correct. Being the local government, you would think that there'd be some courtesy at the next level of governments to have cooperation, but they basically said, this is what we're gonna do, and you're gonna lump it. And my expectation is I'll lump it after you explain to me the regulation, and I can see the regulation, and I can understand your interpretation and the appealable rights associated therein. But until that time, I'm not gonna just accept that's what you're gonna do. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
But they are quite organized, and last night at their homeowner association meeting, you know, they brought Channel 45 News to cover it, so we'll see where things go. But that's your update as of this morning. Hopefully we'll have more within the next week.
Yeah, well,
That's surprising.
You know, and based upon other discussion, it's basically a cost-effective mechanism since they're in a deficit, to try to regain money. And if they do this, then they feel based upon some equation of the linear feet and the amount of mail equates a dollar figure for them. And when you get to 55-foot lots, you have more mail per linear feet than you do when you have 90-foot lots, than you do have 100-foot lots, and so forth. And it's just a mechanism to try to save a dollar. We'll see where things go. So,
okay.
good times.
Well, good luck with that, keep us posted.
Will do.
No pun intended.
Other questions I can answer. If not, that's all that I have for this morning, sir.
Okay. You wanna talk about the Springboro Road thing?
Okay, we can, if you desire.
Did, Do we have a copy of your letter?
I only sent it to you because I wasn't sure how you wanted to proceed, but I
Okay,
can make
well, let's-
copies for all.
Yeah, let's talk about it, and we'll see if we need to. Springboro Road, where they had the haunted hayride, there's some people that want to buy that. And they want to know, and I've asked Jeff to do some research, which he did, I want to let you guys know what's going on. They want to know, the people who are gonna buy it are in the nursery business, and they want to know how far they can go in the nursery business there. What they really like to do, they're in the landscape lawn mowing and nursery business, so they do landscaping and lawn mowing, that's part of their service, so they're wanting to know what they can do there. Aware that we have in the recent, not too distant recent past, we've had a couple landscapers that we've asked to move out of where they were because they were not in the proper zone. They were more lawn mowing and landscaping, not nursery side. So they wanna know how far they can go if they're gonna buy this, and I think the bank wants to know how far they can go and what they can do. So I mentioned that to Jeff and asked him to put a letter together explaining to these people that this is what you have to do unless you wanna change the current zoning regulation, which is in agritourism, or unless you wanna ask for B1. Now, I have said to the people, independent of everybody else, I don't think that's a good location for a B1. So you better figure out what's a way to make your life work if you wanna do this within the agritourism side of things. That was my personal opinion. And I asked Jeff to put some facts together to give to them and let them see if they can work with it before they go sign on a dotted line and can't make this thing work out for the business, and so it wouldn't be fair. So that's what he's put together, a letter, pulling up the old Danachek agritourism application, and then also listing the things that they could do in there and the things they cannot do without some change. So I thought it was fine. I thought it was enough information, and my point, as far as I was concerned, I'm sure it'll develop some more questions, but I would suggest maybe we send it out to everybody and let them look at it before we give it to the guys. Fine, it's Andrew Baker, and I forgot his partner's name. I shouldn't, but I did. You remember?
I just know Andrew.
Yeah. Anyway.
Does Senate Bill 75, would that have any effect on
Well,
that?
you know, I read Senate Bill 75, and it promotes agritourism, but,
There's no teeth.
no, it's not quite to the extent I think that they may want to
Okay.
Depends on interpretation, I think.
And I think it also depends on how much production they actually do on site, and I think that's the unknown
do. Yeah.
through all of this. Now, you can say that you're a nursery, that's great. How much are you actually importing versus growing? How much are you doing those types of elements that become your primary activity to truly your agriculture, as opposed to have a soybean field and want to do all these other things that truly don't meet the expectation of agricultural definition. So I think there's some flux. I used that apparently twice today.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
pretty impressive.
It's a new word of the day, that exists. They're wanting some information prior to. I think what Mr. Way is wanting, is something that's coming from the board as opposed to coming from
Yeah.
Director of Planning and Zoning, so that you guys have a feel for this is what's out there. You're comfortable with this is what interpretation, in case you all are talked or requested information from.
I have to recuse myself from an opinion on that one.
Well, that was gonna be the next part of the discussion, since you're a joining property owner.
Sorry.
Is it better than for me to send a letter, and that
It
way
can
you're...
still come from the board, but point out that
Yeah.
I'm recused from it, so.
Well, I understand what they want to do, but if they were just allowed to go in and bring in all of their vehicles and all of their equipment, then that just spits right in the eye of what we've done in the past. And I think what we've done in the past is appropriate. I don't think we want to change that far. However, if we can identify to them that if you grow 50, and I believe, I think you mentioned this to me, over 50% of the amount that you sell, just like a fruit farm or a truck farm, the same thing. It's the same thing. So if they do that, then they can have a retail there for those items.
Yeah, they're still gonna have to, since they have not to bore everyone, but, you know, they have a regular OSR1 zoning classification that allows some activities. Then they have a conditional use permit over top of that that limits some of the activities, but enhances some of the activities. And depending on what they're gonna do, they have basically an approved site plan that's gonna need to be amended.
Right.
If they're going to establish, let's just go down the path of a nursery, but truly growing 100% of what they're selling, doing, just as a discussion point, they're still gonna need to come in because they're changing how flow is gonna occur, they're changing building uses, they may add buildings. So it's still gonna have to come back through some type of public review, even though it's, if it would exist just as the OSR1, as a roadside stand element, it would not have to come before zoning at all if it met some criteria. Agritourism says a nursery over 10 parking spaces needs to come through site plan review. So there's still some stuff they're gonna have to do with us, even though they may say, well, I'm totally bona fide agriculture. Well, you are, but you have limitations on the property that allow you to do the haunted
Because of what we
hayride.
did when Danish checks came through, they have some limitations. Very similar to a PUD
Correct,
on the OSR1 for that particular location. That's fair?
correct. So they want to do both activities, something that we've not yet discussed. They want to maintain the agritourism of the haunted hayride. So I don't see them coming through and removing the conditional use, going back to wholly OSR1 utilization. It's still always going to be a combination of the two, so we're always going to be involved at some level, unless it is completely status quo, which no one ever does because that's what the last guy had. You know, and everyone has a different dream for properties, so, understand.
Okay, well, I'd like to get that to them.
Okay.
And send
Well, I'll
it
get a
out
draft out to
everybody.
everyone and
Out to
make sure that
everybody.
it's
And
comparable.
just important for them to try to help them out before they get in a mess. Not that we're gonna necessarily do what they want.
No,
Yeah,
they're
right,
asking
it's just not
for
gonna-
guidance and
They're asking
just
for
want to make
guidance.
sure everyone's on the
That's
same
what we-
page.
That's what we can do here. Okay, well, thanks for your work on that already, and I know that more to come on that. Anything else from Jeff? Okay.
Unless you guys have anything from.
Road department, we have a backhoe replacement, and of course, this big trade going in, and good enough.
Yeah, if you remember, the last only kept 7 years, so I'd like to give a quick brief history of what's taken place
Sure.
recently to make it better justification of what we're trying to do here. Is since we purchased that backhoe, we've had to replace the entire pivot section on the back of the boom. We've had to replace all the cylinders. We've had to replace we've had over 10 hoses blow on it. All the tolerances are too tight. We can't get grease to take on about half the machine most of the time without, you actually had to take pins out of all the moving parts, send them out to have them remachined so that they'll take grease. And, you know, we had the cylinder on the curl arm go out, which has basically flooded the system with metal shavings. So we've had just a lot of issues, and
How many years we've had that three?
just under 4. And we kept the last one 7 years to avoid major issues. We've already had these from year 1 all the way up. Our coverage on it has ran out, and some of these have been major expenses. And we kind of decided that with the upcoming winter getting ready to start and everything, we might be better off to move away from it now and get a piece of equipment in here that we know is going to get us through. We did get 3 quotes. I know this just states Murphy Tractor, but if you're not familiar, that's John Deere. They came in less with the trade-in than Case or Caterpillar, so it's back to what we originally used and what we kind of prefer. So it worked out for us all the way around, but we've had issues with the wiring. We've had all kinds of problems with this thing, and I'm not saying it's a bad product, but we may have got a lemon out of it, so.
That's what I was just thinking, is there a lemon law for backhoes?
I don't think
I'm
so.
serious, I
Yeah.
mean,
It's a piece of heavy equipment, so.
it sounds like it.
We met with, Southeastern Equipment is the Case dealer, and so we met with them, and this has been an ongoing discussion for months, because after the big cylinder went out, our concern was that's gonna have lingering effects on this, you know, the hydraulics and. So we met with Southeastern and had the meeting of, do we have a lemon here? What can you do for us? Your repairs haven't been out of the norm. They're a little bit
And that
above
tells
the
you you
norm,
never
but
write
not,
case again.
it's not uncommon, and it's like, well, No, this is uncommon, this doesn't happen, so we pressed them and they basically came back with a higher price to replace it with the trade-in than John Deere, which was the piece of equipment we preferred in the end. You know, John Deere seems to be the industry gold standard for a backhoe. The machine's gonna be a little bit bigger frame-wise, that seems to have limited them some. But just to get out of this one now seems like the right time than to have some really expensive. The things Scott mentioned have been under warranty. So we haven't been paying for these big repairs.
But it's been down.
Well, and the other thing is I don't wanna see, you know, we were doing the work here in the parking lot when they were kinda in my ear about, hey, this thing's a problem. Hose blows, they're down a day, they can't get the hose right away. Maybe a month after that, they're in the middle of the road doing a ditch or a culvert and another hose blew. So you have downtime, you lose 50 gallons of hydraulic oil when that blows.
Yeah, out on Magnolias.
So that's not a situation I wanna keep perpetuating and, you know, so that's.
We need to get rid of that.
We understand hoses are gonna blow,
Oh,
but
yeah,
not to the extent that we're having.
How many hours are on it, Scott?
Would you have 700 something?
No, it was a little higher, like 1180 or something like
Yeah,
that.
but still, I mean,
But
that's nothing.
we even had the sales rep tell us that with the amount of hose lines that are blowing, that there's an issue with the way it's distributing its power throughout the machine, which could be, you know, foresight of other things to come as well. So I mean that amount of hoses to blow, it's just putting pressure in the wrong places too many times. It's not controlling it right. It's been a lot of, you know, we've replaced a lot of those outside of warranty because it was cheaper for us to just do it here than to go down there with the you know, out in the middle of the road somewhere and have it all done. So it's, you know, they actually had a repair kit for the rear boom. I mean, that's been an issue, and that you're probably talking $25,000 repair on that if it wasn't under warranty. So
I think personally we need to get rid of it, because if we've got a limit and let's just
Absolutely.
take our lump and the headaches we've had with it and move on, and this is a pretty good price, pretty good trade-in. You know, what are those machines, 160, 70,000?
174, I believe, before we got the state contract on it.
So we're gonna get a new made machine in for 60,000 and get rid of some potential heavy expenses. Is there a motion to approve this purchase for the road department?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah. How long will it take you to get one?
4 to 6 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
They say they may have one on the lot, could be a week or two, but if they don't, 4 to 6 weeks is what they think.
Don't you need that to load, isn't that what you use to load the dump trucks up?
Yeah, and,
Well, the current one works.
yeah.
I mean, they're
Today.
still using it. Yeah, today.
Sell them quick.
Yeah. I just-
All evidence to the contrary.
Well, good luck on getting one as soon as you can, then.
The weather forecast is in your favor.
Well, and we do have the Bobcat as a spare. We just prefer to keep that out of the salt if we can. So.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Anything else from the road department?
No, sir, not unless you have questions.
Anybody have any questions for Scott? Staff updates? Anything, Chad?
Well, I'll just update you. I gave you each a packet, which we've had meetings the last 2 days, and we'll have another one this afternoon with the Haran reps, you know, introducing themselves. It's open renewal. Then the United reps are there to talk about the plan. I need to make sure if you haven't, there's a form I set on top that you just need to execute. It should be the same as what you already designated through the form fire that was completed. But it happens during open enrollment, you have to confirm your selection. So what'll happen December 1st, the plan moves to United, it's the PPO structure which we have now. Then January 1st, we move to the high deductible plan structure. So you do that form again for the January 1st period, moving parts. We were hopeful that they just do the January 1st pricing and forget the December, but we had already bid out December 1st to October 1st with a rate guarantee of 11.3%. We could have moved to January 1st with the same numbers. It would have went the whole year, and then we would have been in a renewal process at the end of the year. It seemed better to have the rate guarantee at 11.3 than then subject ourselves to the renewal, so we kept moving forward with the December 1st change, just to keep the price guarantee and certainty on what that is. So, if you have any questions, the information's in the packet. If you can get me the form back, then we'll have the HSA sessions when we get Fifth Third set up with some dates and talk more specifically about the high deductible plan and how those accounts will work and flow through Fifth Third's setup for them.
Okay. And although we don't need to, we're not gonna, Steve and I are not gonna be on this new plan, they were saying with the old one, we still need to do that.
No, you will, yeah, everybody needs to
Don't
do
get
that.
paid.
You will be under an HRA format
We just won't be
because
under
you,
the fee.
because of other
HSA.
stipulations. And age plays a part in that when you get to a certain age, or if you're on Medicare. So there's some other rules.
I don't know who that was meant for, but I don't think it's meant for me.
Are you making fun
Not-
of me, Jack?
That wasn't directed at any elected person in particular.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
feeling very confident.
Maybe
isn't he?
we'll forget by next review.
Yeah.
It's just the IRS rules. I'm just interpreting the rules.
Okay, gotcha.
You almost got booed, actually, that was close to a boo. So I'm the only one that switches January 1st with the plan switch, and then Linda switches in March.
April
As far
1st.
as the,
Yeah, yeah, because of your term renewing,
Yeah.
you can head the HSA account, and I would assume if, at whatever you didn't have to get reimbursed, you can have dumped into the HSA at that point.
Okay. Anything else? I signed it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments? We do have an executive session scheduled, so if you have any questions or comments, you might want to do that now. Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve 4783 and recess the regular meeting at 9:35 and go into executive session? I would say I don't think we'll have any action to be taken when we come out of executive session, but you're welcome to hang around if you'd like. Is there a motion on 4783?
So moved.
second,
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yeah.
Mr. Gabbard?
yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yeah.